Oh my gosh, why am I so zoomed in? Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having an amazing Thursday afternoon or morning or evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Go ahead and drop in the chat where you guys are joining us from today. So excited to be chatting with y'all. Miami, nice. Fellow Floridian. I love that. San Diego, Dubai. Oh my gosh. Newark, New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. Hello, everyone. San Antonio, Jacksonville, Kenya. That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. Germany, Utah, Canada, some more Canadians. Amazing. Los Angeles. Hello, everyone. Okay, amazing. We are going to kick things off. I'm joining y'all today from sunny Orlando, Florida. We are in the midst of summertime, y'all. It is hot. I am blasting that AC. I'm blasting that AC so hard that literally in my apartment, my AC broke. Imagine that. Picture yourself. Your AC breaks in the middle of a Florida summer. Y'all, I have never called that emergency maintenance line so quick in my life to come fix this AC. I hope y'all are having an amazing Thursday. So if this is your first time tuning into one of our Triple Whale webinars, welcome to Whale Watching. This is where we chat all things best practices, tips, and tricks so that you can scale your brand in 2024 and beyond. Today, we are going to be talking about 6 tools to improve your e-commerce retention and loyalty. We have a phenomenal speaker lineup today. We have Erin, who's going to be presenting on top of for Triple Whale. We have Nick, who's going to be joining us from Skio, Michael from Gorgeous, Ben from Post Pilot, and Daniel from Sendlane. And that is not all. If y'all have joined our whale watching webinars before, you already know this. But if this is your first time, nice little exciting surprise for you. So we have some giveaway items to spice things up for today. So we have a $100 gift card courtesy of Triple Whale. We have some AirPods that Gorgeous will be giving away, a $75 Airbnb gift card from Skio, a hex-clad frying pan, which I am so jealous of whoever gets this, from Post Pilot, and a $75 Milk Bar gift card from Sendlane. So if you are wondering how you can be taking home one of these amazing giveaway prizes, all you got to do is stay engaged in the chat. Whether, a speaker says something that you really agree with, or if you are providing some more tips and tricks in the chat, just stay super engaged, because at the end of each presenter session, I'm literally just going to be blindly scrolling through the chat to choose the winner for these giveaway items. And the more engaged you are in the chat, the more you're sending messages, the more you're engaged with the presenter session, the more likely it is that you will be chosen for these giveaway items. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and kick things off with our first speaker. So everyone, let's go ahead and welcome Ben from Post Pilot. Everyone, Ben is spearheading partnerships at Post Pilot. He's built the program from the ground up, now managing a network of over 500 partners, which as a fellow partner professional, I know that is not easy. And prior to this, Ben was a leader in the founding team of a Canadian funding solutions startup, fueling the rapidly expanding Canadian SMB market. Postpilot is Ben's return to D2C as he found his passion for the industry while working on the brand marketing side at Indochino. I love that brand, a leading global suit company. Ben is committed to driving growth and innovation in the D2C space. Welcome to the whale watching stage, Ben.
Mia, thank you so much. What a killer intro.
I love that for you. Without further ado, go ahead and pull your screen up and the stage is all yours.
Awesome. Let's get the slides loaded. And I think we should be good to go. All right. Well, thank you so much again, Mia. I'm super excited to be here. Pumped to be kicking off the session. We've got a ton of great speakers lined up, a ton to learn today. We're going to start things off with a topic that I think should be included in a lot more of these conversations, and we're working to make that happen here at Post Pilot. That is direct mail. Direct mail is our jam here at Post Pilot. We run programs for Hexclad, Dr. Squatch, Feastables, the likes, all these fantastic brands. And more brands are starting to utilize direct mail for their retention strategies. It's such a good play. And so today I want to talk about that. I want to run you through 5 direct mail hacks, 5 direct mail strategies that you can utilize in your own businesses to really win retention in 2024. So let's get right into it. And I know Mia already did a really great intro. Probably not wondering who I am anymore since you've already been told that, but I am Ben. I run the partnerships program here at Postpilot. Kick things off in brand, right? Working for $100 million plus D2C companies like Indochino. And that gave me a deep appreciation and understanding, right, for a good retention strategy and also good SaaS providers and good platforms. And so when I made that transition over to Postpilot and started working on the platform side, I was really appreciative for that understanding that I gained when working on the brand side. And that allows me to really understand what brands like yourselves need and are looking for in a retention solution and in a retention strategy. So, why are brands looking to direct mail as a new solution, right? What's happening in the ecosystem that is bringing them to Postpilot and saying, hey, should I be testing direct mail? How can I roll this out? And I know we're talking about retention today, but taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture here, I first want to touch on digital CPMs, right? This is something that so many brands are seeing, and it's consistent across all channels, whether it's TikTok, Meta, YouTube, Google, everywhere we're seeing cost of digital is going up. And that is making brands say, hey, where else can I deploy my dollars that's going to be more effective and that I can get more incremental gains because I'm spending so much already on these core digital channels. Now, if we zoom in to the retention side of things, there's a few key issues that are really driving brands to say, hey, should I be seeking out something else like physical, like a postcard in a mailbox? And a couple of those things are this, right? I'm sure this screen looks recognizable to you all. Digital clutter, right? A core and solid digital strategy is critical to any brand. You need a good SMS strategy. You need a good email strategy. But there is so much digital communication out there. How do we break through that? How do we support our digital strategies and really ensure that that messaging is getting to those end recipients that we want to be receiving that message? And if we take it one step further and we look at digital opt-outs, right? Folks that are unsubscribing, unengaging from email and SMS programs, how are we ensuring that we're getting that retention messaging, that offer to those folks that we've already paid so much to acquire when they're opting out of these digital programs that are so core to our business? And that is where direct mail comes into play, right? So very quickly, we see that we can no longer rely solely on digital channels, those core digital channels to our business for retention. We have to seek out other opportunities and other channels to be able to actually get that messaging in front of those folks that matter so much to us. So here at Postpilot, we have a couple core principles. And these are principles that we see across all of our best performing brands. And I want to share those with you. But before doing so, I want to introduce you to 2 handsome chaps. It's Michael Epstein and Drew Sanaki, our co-founders here at Postpilot. Combined, these guys have more experience, and individually, actually, more experience in direct to consumer than on my birth certificate. Years on my birth certificate, they got more than that. And these are the guys that are brought into companies like Karmaloop, Auto Anything, Design Public, when they're sinking ships and they deploy their retention strategies, turn it around, and bring it to profitability. And what was consistent time and time again for Drew and Michael in deploying these retention strategies and turning these ships around was direct mail. They saw direct mail as a core tactic to improve the retention tactics of these brands when they were brought in. And they wanted to make direct mail accessible to all brand founders, just like yourselves. And so that's where Postpilot comes into play, right? Postpilot is your direct mail full funnel solution. So everything from retention to prospecting. We're a done for you service. So we offer in-house account management, in-house design, in-house analytics teams. We're fully integrated for the Shopify ecosystem. So we plug right into Shopify. We plug into SendLane. We plug into Klaviyo, Recharge, Attentive, Loyalty Lion. And basically, we're going to help you get this turned around, a new channel, a new direct mail program deployed for you in a matter of weeks. And this is a huge unlock for a lot of brands who are not familiar with direct mail. They're going to unlock a new channel, new opportunities, new ways to engage with their past customers and new ones. And we're going to do it all for you. So belief number 1, right? Core beliefs for brands that are prioritizing profit is that the fastest growing brands are prioritizing profit. So everybody on this slide here that we work with, Dr. Squatch, Joan Rhodes, Four Sigmatic, time and time again, we see the consistent trend. They are looking at, hey, how are we getting the most out of our acquired customers? How are we turning them profitable? And a core retention strategy is key to this, right? We spend so much money to bring a new customer in the door and acquire those folks and get that first purchase out of them, how are we driving a second, third, fourth, fifth purchase out of those folks, really pushing them into a core repeat purchase cycle? And all of these brands are looking at their profits over return on ad spend or anything else, any vanity metrics on their campaigns. They care about how are we making these customers profitable. So that's belief number one, right? The fastest growing brands optimize for profit. Belief number two that we see consistent across the fastest growing brands is that they are leveraging all available marketing channels, right? So why silo yourself into, spending all your money on paid ads, right? We know that at scale, incrementally, we're going to see diminishing returns. And so there are so many great channels out there. The fastest growing brands that we see are leveraging all of them across all strategies from retention to prospecting. And you should be too, right? Benefits to doing this. Belief number three that we see across all fastest growing brands is their marketing stands out, right? If you think about some of the most memorable marketing campaigns, I always think about like the Old Spice Super Bowl commercials. It's memorable, it stands out. There's a component of virality to it. Now, all marketing campaigns that you launch can't be viral hits, right? But a great way to make your marketing stand out is to go to the channels that are, blue ocean, right? They're not being utilized by all brands in your category, and direct mail still serves as a great standout channel to this, right? It's in the hands of your past buyers. It makes your brand tangible. It is very standout. It's undeniable that if you receive a postcard or a handwritten letter in your mailbox, that's going to stand out to that end recipient, right? We already talked about the sea of digital communications that so many folks are receiving. So direct mail helps you stand out, and fastest growing brands prioritize standout marketing. So let's talk about a few direct mail hacks, right? How are you going to use direct mail to nail your retention strategy for the remainder of 2024? And there are some great ways to do this, and some great ways to do this in tandem with some of our partners on the call here today. So the first strategy that I want to touch on is driving a second purchase with a postcard. And this is a strategy that works really well in tandem with your email and SMS efforts. Specifically, I wanted to highlight our partners, SendLane, and I know Daniel is going to be talking to you a little bit later. But driving a second purchase with a postcard, this is crucial, right? We've paid so much money upfront to acquire our first-time buyer, right? How are we going to move them to that profitability point, right? And that is going to be driving that second purchase first. So they're into our, second purchase funnel. We're sending them email and SMS conversions. When do we send that direct mail piece? When do we insert it? So here at PostPilot, our recommendation is, let's just take Dr. Squatch as an example. Their typical reconversion window is maybe 60 days. We expect folks to come back and buy again, buy a bar of soap again after 60 days. When we do not see that purchase, that is when we want to insert a direct mail piece, a direct mail postcard, get in front of them, give them that win-back offer, and drive them to site for a conversion. We see this works for many brands, whether it's a one or two time purchase brand or a consumable brand like Dr. Squatch, where they have a natural replenishment cycle. Inserting that postcard has massive impact. And while you are sending email and SMS already, we see the impact of direct mail is huge. So incremental lift when you send a postcard to folks who are receiving email and SMS in tandem is somewhere in the ballpark of 18 to 25% more spent on that next purchase. So how can we effectively bring back those one-time buyers when they're already receiving email and SMS and they aren't converting after that typical reconversion window? Insert that postcard at that point in time. And with PostPilot, you can actually set this up as a trigger. So you don't have to do a batch send every 60 days. Hey, we know these customers haven't bought. Let's send them a postcard. What you can actually do is you can integrate it with SendLane, set it up so that after they kind of pass that expected conversion cycle, send them a postcard triggered. So any customers that are hitting that point are receiving that card and reaping the benefits of this campaign. So strategy number one, drive that second purchase with a postcard. This is critical. Now, the second strategy, the second retention strategy that you can really leverage using direct mail is winning back your defecting repeat purchasers as well as inactive email and SMS subscribers. And again, this works great in partnership with our friends over at SendLane, right? So, all right, we've got our second purchase out of these buyers. Maybe they've purchased a third time, a fourth time. We know that between their fourth and fifth purchase, they're typically going to buy again within 35 days or maybe 65 days, something like that. Again, just like the strategy that I outlined with the second purchase, when they miss that inflection point, when we expect them to come back, that trigger point, that is when we insert the postcard marketing. Again, reaping the rewards of that 18 to 25% boost on dollars spent with your brand after we get them back in the door. And if we think about folks who are longer out in that, lifetime cycle with your company, what if they're unsubscribing, right? What if they are removing themselves from your email list, removing themselves from your SMS list? How are we getting back in front of them? And that is where postcards play such an important role, right? 100% deliverability rate. We know if we have their address, we can send them a postcard. It is going to land in their mailbox. And if they're not seeing your email, if they're not seeing your SMS, those are so many customers, again, that you've paid to acquire up front. How are you getting this retention messaging back in front of them, putting an offer back in front of them? A postcard guarantees that you're going to be able to get into their home, get in front of their eyes, even if they've unsubscribed from email or SMS. So, our second strategy for retention with direct mail is going to be winning back those defecting repeats and those inactive email and SMS subscribers. Now, number 3, go after your VIPs, right? Your loyalists, and send them a handwritten card. So I've talked generally about postcards, right? Another great piece that you can send is a handwritten card from your owner, from your founder. What I see so many brands, right? Too many brands that deliver the same experience for their loyalists, their top spenders, premium brands that deliver the same experience for their 2 and 3 time buyers to their 10 plus time buyers and buyers that are spending thousands of dollars on their platform. Give them something different. Make sure that they feel that they're heard. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Some brands do a really great job of this. They send, I was talking about a luggage brand the other day that sends, their premium clients, their VIP clients, an actual free bag when they hit a certain dollar spend. It doesn't have to be super expensive. You can do as simple as a handwritten card from your owner or from your founder. And this is such a standout piece, right? Your loyalists are going to know, okay, they really care about me. They're sending me an ink written message in an envelope, first class stamp. That's going to really resonate with them, and it's going to help them buy again, come back to your site and shop. And we've seen so many great brands like Obvi do this and drive great returns on these campaigns. Number 4, reactivate lapsed subscribers. And I want to call out Skio on this one because we work great in tandem with Skio to actually reactivate those folks that are lapsing out of those subscription programs. So obviously you've got these folks buying consistent cycles. What happens when they get out of that cycle, right? How can we reactivate them? And postcards is a great way to do this because, again, in a lot of cases, this is going to be probably a sign that they're less engaged with the brand, right? They're less engaged with your digital marketing. So let's insert a postcard. We don't necessarily want to drive them right back to subscription again, but we can definitely drive them to another purchase on site. So reactivating lapsed subscribers in partnership with Skio, great way to obviously run your retention program. And the last piece, which goes a little bit more up funnel, but here at Postpilot, we can actually track your anonymous browser data and we can retarget those folks with a postcard. So if you have folks that you've already acquired, they've come back, maybe they're browsing around, they're adding a cart, not leaving their email, we can actually identify who those folks are, match it up with your purchase records, and send them a postcard to say, hey, thanks for coming back and visiting us again. Come back, finish your purchase cycle, buy that thing. Here's a coupon code that you can use to get a special discount because obviously we know that you're a past buyer. So targeting those site abandoners that have bought from you before, we can identify that traffic here at Postpilot, and this is a great way to, again, fuel that retention cycle and make sure that you're getting the most out of those folks. So wrapping up here, I want you to remember one thing, right? Prioritizing profits is very important, and a solid retention program is going to help you do that. Now, direct mail is a great tactic to insert into your retention program alongside the tools that you're already using, like email, SMS, subscription platforms, all that great stuff. So digital channels are saturated. Direct mail is going to help you stand out. Retention remains king. And the 5 hacks to think about, right? You can come to Postpilot and you can say, hey, help me deploy these tactics today. I want to own my retention for the rest of 2024, and we will be happy to do so. So that is driving a second purchase with incremental lift, winning back repeat customers who haven't bought in that expected reconversion window, engaging your loyal VIPs, reactivating lapsed subscribers, and then bringing back those site abandoners, those folks who we know have bought from us, they're browsing again, and they're leaving. And with these 5 hacks, you're going to be set up to win retention not only this year, but for many years to come. And we would love to help you do that here at Postpilot. So thank you. That's all from me, and I will see you soon on the Postpilot platform.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. That was so good. We have so many questions in the chat, and I know we only have a few minutes, so I'll only go through just a few of them, and any of the others, you're more than welcome to go through and answer them in the chat.
Yeah.
The first question we have here was really good. So this one's from Abby, and they're asking, being environmentally friendly is important to our brand. How do we honor that with direct mail?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great question that we get, and we definitely work on both the front end and the back end to make sure that we're meeting like our own environmental goals. And so, first of all the cards that we send, recycled material. So up front, that's what we're doing to ensure that we're lowering our footprint. Now on the back end, we're actually planting trees 3 to 1. So we're basically outweighing the amount that we're consuming for the postcards in replanting. And we actually have a great partner. They've got some really cool things on their site. They've got some cool things like you can listen to the trees growing. They put microphones in the forest so you can listen to those trees growing and spreading out of the ground. But we're doing everything we can here because we recognize, of course, that all brands want to ensure that they're good for the environment. And so both on the front end, the materials that we're using for the cards, sustainably sourced, as well as the back end, planting those trees to ensure that we're reducing our environmental footprint, of course, when we're sending this direct mail.
Very cool. That is super cool. Annabelle just messaged in the chat, tree growing ASMR. I love that. And then I have a question for you, and this is just like my data brain growing and all things ROAS. I'm really curious to know what the average ROAS you should expect from a direct mail campaign.
Yeah, it's a great question. And because we do full funnel, it's going to vary a lot depending on the type of campaign that you're launching. But since we're talking about retention today, if we look at a lapsed subscriber win back, we're aiming for no less than a 3x return on ad spend for any of those retention campaigns. And depending on the product, depending on your AOV, in a lot of cases, you're going to see a lot higher, 4, 5, 6x. And obviously, some of the stats that I flashed on screen were much, much higher than that. But that would be kind of an average. And then, of course, depending on the type of campaign, if you're sending to a cold audience, prospecting audience, it's going to vary a little bit. But for any of these retention campaigns, we don't want you to see anything less than a 3x return on ad spend.
Okay, perfect. And then how does direct mail kind of work coincide with email and SMS? Because I know like most people have, and have optimized their email and SMS campaigns. And I think direct mail is one of those areas where we're starting to see like way more popularity come in. So, for brands who already have optimized those email and SMS campaigns, how does direct mail kind of pair in with that?
For sure. It's a great question. And I know some of the strategies we talked about today, I called out like our partners, SendLane, email and SMS, and they work great together. So definitely there is hey, folks are not engaging with our email and SMS, or these folks aren't engaging, or these folks haven't engaged in this amount of time. Let's insert direct mail. Great. But there's also the play of, hey, we want to include direct mail because we know that when we send direct mail in tandem with email and SMS, and the nice thing about Postpilot is that we're actually going to give you incremental lift analysis and holdout testing. So all of our campaigns, since we're integrated with Shopify, have direct reporting. We're going to show you the stats on how this is performing. And what we can do is we can track incremental lift. So if we're sending the card to somebody who's receiving email and SMS, and folks who are receiving email and SMS and not the cards, what's the difference? We know that sending a postcard in tandem with those channels is going to drive a higher higher conversion rate, as well as a higher purchase order value. So if you are sending a postcard in tandem with these channels, it's a great strategy to drive a little bit more life out of those folks. And so there's two ways to think about it. One, are they engaging? We've optimized the folks who are not engaging. How can we send to them? And two, the folks who are engaging, how can we get more life out of those folks by sending a postcard in tandem with those strategies? And it's all automated through our integrations with SendLane and others.
Okay, cool. And then the next question I have actually, someone asked this in the chat. I believe it was Stephen who asked this in the chat, and it goes really good in tandem. So let's say, for example, you have a customer or a prospect that opted out from email and SMS, and then you send them a postcard. Is there some form of messaging, or what do you feel like is the best type of angle to take there so that it doesn't come off like too aggressive?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing I'll mention is and this is nice for brand operators. Like, you do not need consent to send a postcard to anybody in the United States. So if they've opted out of your email or SMS program, obviously I've talked about this, you can still send them a postcard. The nice thing is there's a couple ways we can go about this. So you can make all of your postcard campaigns with Postpilot super personable. So you can have your customer name on there. You can have things like their birthday on there. Like you can send them a birthday card. You can have custom coupon codes. If you want to make it feel a little bit more general, you could remove some of those elements. So if you wanted to just send them like a general piece, so then it doesn't feel like as like, okay, I'm just receiving like this. I know this brand knows who I am and I'm receiving this postcard from them. Maybe that feels a little bit weird if they've opted out of these other channels, but that's what I would say. Make it a little less personal at that point. You can still send them the direct mail. And again, the timing on it is good, right? If we wait a little bit after they've lapsed out of these cycles, then it feels a little bit more of like a new touch point for them. And on the tail end of that, if they choose to opt out of direct mail too, we can do that. We have opt-out capabilities on Postpilot. So if they reach out to the brand and they're like, hey, we really don't want to receive like anything from you, period, like we can still remove them from that. But we don't see that too often. We only see like, I can usually count on 10 fingers, like the opt-outs per brand that we see. And obviously we're sending thousands of postcards every month for them. So
very cool. I know that there's still some questions in the chat, so I'll let you take those. But before I let you go, Ben, we're going to go ahead and choose this giveaway winner for this Hexclad frying pan. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll through, and our winner today is Jess Rangel. Congratulations, Jess. You are taking home a Hexclad frying pan. I'm so jealous of you.
I'm jealous too.
Right? All right, Ben. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll chat soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
All right, everyone. We are going to keep things moving. So next up joining me on the stage, we have Michael from Gorgias. So Michael, come on up. Prior to joining Gorgias, Michael worked on the tech partnerships team at Aircall, scaling help desk platform partnerships. He also spent close to 6 years at Beyond, working on building out affiliate and production partnership programs. Michael also has sales experience from Tesla, and he's passionate about developing out long-term strategic partnerships that drive mutual benefit for both organizations. In his free time, he loves specialty coffee, old BMWs, practicing all manners of photography, and attempting to catch something while fishing around the San Francisco Bay Area. I love that. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Doing good, Mia. Thanks so much for the intro. It makes it sound like I do a lot of stuff every day, but you do what you can. Really excited to be here. Loved the first panel discussion on those direct mailers. That's something that I don't get. I guess I don't get enough of those right now, which means I'm probably not buying enough things online and getting opted into those strategies. But love to see those things pop up. Really, really excited to chat with you guys. A slightly different direction here. But yeah, as Mia mentioned, Michael, tech partner manager over here at Gorgias. And for those who are not super familiar with Gorgias, we are the #1 rated help desk specifically built for e-commerce, got offices, and we work with over 15,000 stores on Shopify today. So really, really exciting times. We also work with tons of brands on automation. Some of the favorites, I got my Kith hat on here today. This kind of automation is going to set the tone for, how brands today can really focus on building good customer experiences that drives those retention strategies and that like long-term customer lifetime value. So kind of understand that, I'm going to take a look and dive into like, what do customers want? Like that's really the main question that we have to ask ourselves when building out any type of strategy, understanding the customer and then kind of implementing from that point. So we're going to start today with like how to surprise and delight customers and what goes into that, what comes out of that. And yeah, we'll jump right in. So it's really just beyond just a transaction. Anytime a customer is interacting with your brand, only 20% of those interactions usually leave them actually truly delighted, getting the answers to their question, maybe something really personalized. We're currently living in a time where it's a little bit more like transactional, or maybe they can't even find the answers they're looking for. So there's really a cost delighting customers. Some brands today are, focusing on doing gifts or refunds or discounts and things like that. Although those are some strategies that work for specific use cases, it may not align directly if your goal is customer loyalty. And the way to go about doing that is to delight them. and retention and I guess becoming delighted are really, really closely related. And how does that work? It happens by us, right? Asking an answer, getting the answer to that question quickly, right? Understanding like what size you are as a business will also really, really help. Just dictate like what customer interactions you want to have and how you want to address them. Jump in as well on, how to kind of go about that. So there's a lot here, but I think what I really want to highlight is, everybody today is trying to achieve like 24/7 customer support as like a gold standard, but not every business to like staff this, let alone have people in every time zone. So, how do you get around this? The answer to that is like a lot of people oftentimes like prefer to self-serve. I know I just bought something like recently. I bought a backpack online and I was trying to figure out where process. For me, I take extreme ownership, right? And a lot of people do this too. They just want to find it out themselves. They don't want to have to rely on someone else. And kind of meeting that self-serve need uh, aligns directly to that. Gorgeous actually, where they found that customers would rather try to help themselves before they even contact the support. So you're providing an option, right? And we don't want to leave somebody hanging for like 12 hours just to get an update on their order or learn about shipping or return policies before they buy. So a way to do that is set up quick response templates. Here I have a few like sample common questions. Behind these, you can build out certain flows to help start automating those things so people can just more quickly. And then to that end, you can recommend articles that you're already writing the answers to these questions, right, that you're getting every day, and serve those back to the customers. So what we've been kind of seeing is merchants who are kind of most effectively automating at least like 25% of their tickets in something like this way, in some cases like up to 40%. So these automation tools in place, having something similar is the key to delighting customers. A great example of someone who just a really, really simple way of doing this would be Steve Madden. So here what we're looking at is, it looks simple, but there's actually like a couple of layers to this. So one is they have a help center, information section, but they also actually have something a bit more complex where you can actually, there's a bit of interactivity. You can do things like track your order or initiate a return or report an issue. And this speaks to that like self-service component where, 88% of your online expect your store to offer some kind of self-service. So I thought this was a great little visual that shows just, simple and clean way to do that and speak to those needs. So now that we kind of understand like how to build self-service bits in there, how do you make things easy to find and reduce first response time? So it comes down to, how can you help me, right? HubSpot, I love this data point. HubSpot did a study where like 90% of customers said first response time is very important to them. And customers are going to reach out like however they want. There's going to be someone out there who's only going to send you Facebook message. There's someone out there who's like only going to do SMS. And as much as you want to drive them to your support, they're just not going to be the way they're going to reach out. So the only way to combat that is to be everywhere, right? You have to have email, web, SMS, social. You got to be ready to communicate with your customers where they are. And that's just kind of like table stakes for all who are kind of implementing that omnichannel strategy. So you can only really do so much, but by taking a omnichannel approach, you can consolidate all those channels into one place, provide proactive support, and then use those automation things that we were talking about earlier to respond to tickets as quickly as possible. So now we're like using the building blocks on getting that loyalty, that trust built over time. And yeah, I know here's just like a little quick visual I tossed in on stellar CX being the difference and omnichannel being a huge part of that strategy. The other great part about omnichannel is you can integrate with things like Triple Whale. You can integrate with things like Skio. You know this customer has a subscription. You can look at the analytics of how much they've ordered in the past, and that gives you a more holistic view to create better personalized to these at scale across all your channels. So the next phase of having these things set up is going to be to leverage technology to automate your common questions and redundancies. So this all ties into that first response time reduction. And how's everyone doing this today? What's everyone talking about? It's like AI and large language models. And I know like that I'm not gonna like bore you with the topic of AI, but I think what I want to highlight is how does that play with support? And it's really comes down to two things. Uh, it's a path to 24/7 support gold standard, right? And by handling those easy questions, right, it doesn't mean you're necessarily replacing people on your support team, but it really means like them up for problems that require like human empathy or specialization, and more importantly, cross-sell, upsell activities that are high impact and focus on revenue, right? So use automation to handle the easy, quick stuff, and then the rest focus on big, important tasks, right? So I figured I'd highlight a couple brands that are doing really, really well in this today. Obvi, they have one full-time agent who's doing 150 tickets a day. I think that's only possible and sustainable by having them through automations to handle that easy stuff, and then they're able to kind of manage and scale from there. July, they're doing a really great job as well. They just have a small team that helps reduces like their stress on the rest of it, and again, reducing that first response time and delighting customers is the name of the game. And yeah, I think the best way to kind of categorize this is spending more time on high impact tasks is the way the future's kind of gonna go. And shopping are really changing faster than ever, and customer expectations for immediate service, personalized experiences are really at an all-time high. And this is a new time. Your work is fundamentally gonna shift, and it's not just answering questions these days. That's not going to be the main component of CX jobs. The norm might be today, but we're talking about tomorrow. Instead, I think what we're going to see is your teams are going to be coaching AI models to respond to these types of basic questions, earning back that time for you to handle those escalations and other projects. And then those things have really been deprioritized up to now because we're freeing up that time. There's a couple of like basic approaches here to what goes into it, right? You got to be great at learning your policies and brand voice. You're going to want to make sure that you're learning to resolve tickets accurately and make sure that it's on brand. And you're going to want to have the ability to like review and observe those interactions and coach your AI model continually to improve over time. Whoever's going to become the best at training their AI model is also going to become the best at doing customer support. And that's going to lead to those retention plays. So some really, really interesting insights here. So those who are automating are seeing like measurable results with improved CX. I mean, we're talking customer retention. I mean, 36% increase in repeat purchases immediately, chopping in third your first response times. Resolution times is also key. I mean, first response time, great, but actually getting resolved, cutting that time in half and taking less back and forths to do it. Topicals, they're a great example of driving more sales from their support channel while having excellent CSAT. And they're doing that because they're automating a lot of their tickets. Definitely implore you to go check out their website and poke around and just kind of see like, hey, how are they actually doing it? Because I guarantee you that brands who are doing this or not doing this, their competitors are going to be starting to do it. So just something to think about. And also Shinesty, who on earlier, they're automating at least half their tickets right now using a super small team, 5 agents, right? Instead of 20 agents, having massive quick response times and driving those self-service interactions. So I think kind of in some, making sure that you're giving them a reason to come back to your brand all ties in with like this AI strategy with getting people the answers they need and getting like all your stuff consolidated into one simple place. Because what does that lead to? The optimal customer experience. And we're all striving for that. That's the name of the game. But that's kind of, the main things I wanted to chat with you guys today. I know just our time is brief, but of course, in summary, make sure you're surprising and delighting, make it easy for people to find the answers to their questions, and give a reason to come on back. So questions you guys have at all, feel free to get in touch, or if you want to set up some time with the Gorgeous team, you can scan that little code right there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Michael. You talked about some amazing brands in there. Like all of the brands that you brought up are just like clearly killing it with their customer service because like you mentioned Topicals. Topicals has always been one of those brands that has always just had such a good customer experience. Same thing with Shinesty, like amazing. There are a couple questions in the chat, so I'm going to go through some of these for you. So let's go ahead and start with, I saw a question up here regarding chatbots. So Madeline had asked, how can Gorgeous work or integrate with a chatbot?
Great question. So Gorgeous actually offers a chatbot that sits live on your site. You can use it to directly connect to an agent, but kind of speaking to the efficiencies of what we discussed earlier, you can also drive them to maybe they want to understand where is my order, which is pretty much the most common e-commerce question that comes in. They can directly do that from within their platform. I think I'll just pull this up real quick. Example of a merchant site that has a live chat sitting on it. You can go here and click track my order. You can have it send you an email and SMS. You put it in there and it'll pull up your order info. So stuff like this, common questions, right? This is everything we just talked about.
Exactly. The chatbot is so helpful too. And you mentioned a really good point about being everywhere that your customers are. Because like for me, when I'm reaching out to a brand about an issue, I'm always using the chat function because for me, it's just easier, it's faster. But then there's some consumers out there that do prefer email or do prefer calling. And because those are their preferred methods, they're always going to default to using those methods. So having accurate processes set up for that is so incredibly important for the customer experience. So I love that you brought that up. And one other question that we have from Steven has to do with driving more sales and upselling. So his question here is there an option to feed the AI bot to kind of focus on driving more sales and or upselling?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about like training your AI model to match your brand of voice. And who's better to do that than all of the customer conversations you've ever had being incorporated into a large language model, and fine tuning that, right? If you need to add guidance on, inserting more questions about, hey, are you interested in this new product? Or, hey, we thought you might be interested, more suggesting things, right? That all ties into how to drive cross-sell, upsell. And again, I think some of those brands that we highlighted earlier, like they're already doing those things today. And I think what's also really, really interesting that I forgot to bring up earlier, Gorgeous is also launching our AI agent for email channel on. So it's basically going to be able to automatically answer questions using all your historical information, bring in Shopify data. Somebody writes in, hey, I forgot to order this thing for my mom's birthday. Is it going to arrive in time? It's actually going to respond, hey, here set to come in. Also, happy birthday to your mom. It's driving that personalization bit.
Yeah,
Really
I'm
cool.
super excited for the AI agent. For anyone here who is either using Gorgeous, I highly recommend looking into it and checking it out. For anyone who's not using Gorgeous, this is even more of a reason to use Gorgeous because the AI agent is honestly one of my favorite releases that you guys have came out with yet because it's super innovative and just the examples that I've seen, it's amazing. And before I let you go, Michael, we're going to go ahead and choose this winner for your giveaway item. So someone today is going to be taking home a pair of AirPods. So I'm going to go ahead and just scroll on through here.
Someone's gonna be
And
looking at some tree roots growing, right?
Yes. Our winner today is Stephen Colin. Congratulations, Stephen. You're going to be taking home a pair of AirPods today, courtesy of Gorgeous.
Congrats.
Love that. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Michael. I know you're flying today, so safe travels. And if anyone has any questions for Michael, y'all can find his email if you want to drop your email in the chat, Michael, or you guys can connect with him on LinkedIn. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, Michael. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys. So next up, joining us on the stage, we have the lovely, beautiful, magnificent, my colleague, Erin Watt, joining us from Triple Whale. So Erin, come on up to the stage. Everyone, Erin is a dedicated tech partner manager here at Triple Whale. Drawing from her background in sales and management, she collaborates with tech partners to offer the most valuable guidance and support to help expand our customer base and integration offerings. Beyond the office walls, she finds her joy in the great outdoors, immersing herself in various activities depending on the season. Y'all, Erin is an outdoor queen. She's out here snowboarding, skiing, she's doing all hiking, she's doing all the things, golfing. So if y'all ever want to chat with her about outdoor activities, she is your girl.
It is true. I really do like the outdoors, especially when you spend so much time on the computer. It's nice to get some fresh air, see what's beyond the computer screen. So
yes, I love that for you. Well, Erin, I will let you go ahead and take the stage.
Well, thank you, Mia, for that warm introduction. And hello, everyone. I noticed that we have people calling from all around the world. So whether it's morning or the afternoon or evening for you, I am just so happy that you're able to join us. As Mia mentioned, I am Erin Watt, speaking to you from Toronto, Canada. So hello to all of my fellow Canadians joining us today. And as a tech partner manager at Triple Whale, I am just very excited to share some insights on tactics to improve your customer retention. But before we dive into that, let's clear up a question that I tend to get quite often. What exactly is Triple Whale? Okay, so I feel Triple Whale is your e-commerce BFF. It is your ride or die companion, here to celebrate your business's successes, as well as helping you to tackle those unforeseen challenges of your online store. So Triple Whale is that all-in-one analytics tool that consolidates all of your data into one user-friendly, centralized dashboard. And it also integrates with major ad channels and platforms like your Shopify, Google, Meta, as well as tools like Gorgeous and SendLane. So it can provide you with that really holistic view of who your customers are, where they came from, what they bought, and of course, how much it actually costs to acquire them. So today, Triple Whale is proudly the source of truth for 20,000 Shopify and Shopify Plus stores. And here are just a few of the amazing brands that we get to work with every single day: Olipop, Chamberlain Coffee and Milk, just to name a few. Okay, so now that we're familiar with Triple Whale, let's dive into the most exciting part of our presentation. And I'm sure we can all agree there has been just so many changes in the industry, and selling things online isn't getting any easier. So with all of these changes in the DTC world, one fact will remain the same: it is always cheaper to retain a customer than it is to acquire a new one. But I think we can all also agree that is easier said than done, right? But don't worry, this is why I'm going to actually go and discuss some of the top 6 tips that will not only immediately improve your retention, but it will also help to explain why you should use some of these tips and a goal you should set with these tips, and even show you some examples of how different brands are actually utilizing them too. So then you can also implement those into your strategies. Okay, everyone excited to get into that first tip? All right, so tip number 1, dive deep into your customer support practices. So really the goal here is to review how and why your customers are engaging with your support team to ensure their experiences are nothing less than amazing. Why do we want to do this? Well, ensuring exceptional customer support is critical because it directly impacts the overall customer experience. One of the quickest ways to damage a relationship with a customer is by providing slow or unsatisfactory support. Remember, your customer support defines your customer experience. So depending on what tools you use for customer support, reviewing why your customers are reaching out can either be a really easy task or require some serious focus time. So if you do want easy, I am a big fan of Gorgeous for many reasons, but for this purpose specifically, Gorgeous platform does offer that user-friendly UI and an easy implement satisfaction survey. So the surveys can help you find patterns in your CS data that can now help you to unlock insights to improve the customer experience and ultimately customer retention. So, for example, reviewing this data may indicate that a particular product often arrives broken or damaged, identifying the need for alternative packaging formats for shipping, and then ensuring that more first-time purchases received that are undamaged can vastly improve retention for these customers. And now tip number 2. So get serious about email and SMS segmentation. So the goal here is to make sure every text or email your customers are receiving is adding value. Why? Well, the reason is so important because spam can only lead to 2 things: an unsubscribe or a breakup. So there are many ways to approach email and SMS segmentation. Think of segmentation as a light personalization that will add a ton of value. So I've seen a lot of brands sending standard marketing emails and SMS, offering their customers random product recommendations, hoping to attract repeat customers. So the style of email and text not only has zero personalization, but it also provides very little value to customers and will probably end up in their spam, or they'll delete the message before opening it, or worse, they'll unsubscribe. So just adding a couple of personal touches, like noting that the customer may have run out of a product since it's been a few months since their last order, and then providing a special discount for their loyalty, will just make the customer feel appreciated and increase chance of them becoming a repeat customer. I also wanted to highlight how an email and SMS platform like SendLane can elevate SMS marketing. So below is a screenshot from SendLane showcasing QuarkCircle's approach to personalizing SMS messages for VIPs versus their new customers. So QuarkCircle's VIP members receive this exclusive offer, encouraging them to sign up for the text program with a deadline to create some sense of urgency. Additionally, QuarkCircle educates their VIPs about the special incentives that they will continue receiving by signing up. Now, offering a 50% discount significantly impacts a brand's margins, especially when discounting new items. However, by targeting only loyal customers, so their VIPs, there is a highly likelihood of repeat purchases even after the weekend sales. And then these customers are also more likely to sign up for the text program to continue receiving those exclusive offers. And I also have provided just a few more segment ideas. And honestly, these are really just the tip of the iceberg. One segment can be purchased product type. So the purpose of the segment is to send new product recommendations based on past purchases. So use purchase history to recommend similar or complementary products. Another really great segment could be the birthday month. So the purpose to this one would be to send rewards or gifts during a customer's birthday month. Bonus tip, send a personalized message wish on their actual birthday, just to make your customer feel extra special. You can also do a segment based on social engagers. So really the purpose of this segment is to encourage customers to follow your brand or influence accounts, run contests that require customers to follow your brand or influence, and or rewards or discounts for engaging with your social media post. And then lastly, the abandoned cart segment. So the purpose of this one is just to re-engage with customers who have added items to their cart but did not complete the purchase. So you can send an automated reminder by email or SMS highlighting the items they left in the cart. Bonus, try to use personalized messaging just to address any maybe potential concerns or questions that they may have about the products, just to increase the likelihood of actually completing that purchase. So our third tip for today, review your customers' loyalty program. So the goal here is to make your customers want to be a part of your ever-growing brand. And the why? Well, it's to achieve that ultimate win-win scenario. So consider this. People naturally gravitate towards those who share similar interests. It's highly probable that your most loyal customers are the ones who are the most inclined to endorse your brand and have friends who share similar purchasing preferences. So this is an incredible opportunity for you to not only gain new valuable customers, but also elevate your existing engagements, thereby fostering deeper sense of brand loyalty. So we also need to take a moment to sometimes just step into the customer's shoes. Does a 10% discount really get them excited to go back to a brand and purchase their next item? So reward your customers for the referrals or brand social shares with special offers that can get them really excited. These can include, but not limited to, free gifts, dollars or percentage off, more than just 10%, exclusive access to product drops, and so forth. So if you're sitting here feeling unsure what an effective loyalty, rewards, or even referral program would look like for your customers, I have one simple solution for you. Ask them. Ask your customers what they want. You can do this by either asking them with a post-purchase survey, or reach out to your customers on social media, or even through an email campaign. When you include your customers by building your brand, they become a part of your brand. And that's what they're really going to love. And that's where you're going to see more loyalty as well, too. All right, so tip number 4. Implement surprise and delight activities for your customers. And I know both Gorgeous and Postpilot have also talked about this one in their presentation. So really the goal here is just to make your customers adore your brand. Why? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Customers who genuinely love your brand tend to remain loyal. So while this concept is simple, it is also hard to then go ahead and execute. So I do have a few different ideas as how you can explore and infuse some additional elements of surprise and delight to further enhance your customer's experience. So surprise and delight, I feel, can mean a variety of different things. It can mean sending VIP customers direct love mail, offering customers early access to new releases, or allowing your customers to vote on new products in your pipeline. So I love when brands get creative with their customers and find different ways to show that they're thinking of them and how much they value their business. So I'm actually stealing an example that Ben showed from Postpilot because I really did feel this was a really great win-win example. So as we all know from what Ben mentioned, Dr. Squash just really excels in thinking outside the box, using direct mail to surprise and delight their customers. Postpilot enhanced the strategy by helping Dr. Squash reach those customers who were not converting via email and also SMS. And by deploying this direct email campaign, targeted those who haven't ordered in about 7 to 9 months, their results were outstanding. So they were able to achieve a 12.6% conversion rate and the ROAS of over 10x. So this approach was just a really successful re-engaged activity for those inactive customers, as well as boosting sales. So really a great win-win. And on to tip number 5, audit your customer's journey end to end. So the goal here is to make your brand and product messaging crystal clear for both potential and existing customers. The why? Well, clear messaging really helps brands bring the right customers to your brand and the kind of customers with potential to becoming your VIPs. So additionally, messaging clarity just helps keep prior purchasers informed, engaged, and excited about upcoming opportunities with your brand. So auditing your customer journey can be a bit of a tedious process, but it is worth the effort. So to complete a proper audit, you must review every touch point from first touch. So that could be like your Facebook ads to post conversion. Those can be your confirmation emails or even customer support. And as you explore each stage of the customer journey, look for statistically significant behavioral patterns. So you want to concentrate on customers who either did not convert, or that they did convert and they have low LTV, or the ones that did convert and they have high LTV. So just to make the audio process just a bit easier, you can use tools like Drip Whale that highlights each point of the customer journey with metrics so that you can get a better data-backed decisions and you'll also have a clearer picture. Another really quick recommendation I have when it comes to auditing your customer journey is interviewing the customers at various stages of the buying journey just to gain a deeper understanding of what is and isn't working. So I have provided a few different examples of just questions that you can ask. And these are just starting points for your customer reviews at various stages of the buying journey. So the first is what stood out to the customer about your brand and products from the first day that they encountered them. what makes their purchase experience easier or pleasant, and then the opposite, what makes their purchase experience difficult or unpleasant. And then finally, is there anything unclear about the brand or products from their ads or their site? So through this process, you'll be able to extract insights that can help you pinpoint areas for improvement, and not just with your messaging, but ideally your overall customer journey experience as well. Okay, and we are, oh my God, we're already at tip number 6. So conduct month-based acquisition cohort analysis. That is a mouthful. So the goal here is to examine the customers you acquired within a specific time frame, and then analyze those buying habits, and then map them back to various marketing campaigns or initiatives that were active during those acquisitions. So seek out statistically significant behavior patterns here to determine which initiatives resulted in the most loyal and also satisfied customers. Why do we have to do all this work? Well, when you can pinpoint the marketing campaigns, the objectives, and the efforts that yielded the highest LTV customers, you can then focus on a cycle of just refreshing, refining, and honestly duplicating those successful strategies. So eventually doing less work in the future. All right, so in order to do this, I do suggest utilizing some type of data visualization tool like Triple Whale, which will enable you to compare customer behavior across monthly cohorts. So you really want to start by assessing some key metrics. These metrics can include new customer payback amounts, or the cost of acquiring customers in that cohort, repeat purchase rates, or the number of sales over time, and the lifetime value by cohort as well too. And then the next step is just to dive into the marketing data. So for example, your ads, your emails, SMS, your social media from the cohorts with the highest LTV, so then you can examine how you can replicate their successes. It's also important to know which months resulted in the lowest LTV acquired customers, so then you can dig into what happened there too. And there you have it. So those are your 6 tactical tips for improving retention that all of you can start implementing honestly today. And even if you implement just one of these tips, I do believe good things are to come. If anyone does have any questions about Triple Whale, or if you are interested in trying it out, please email me at erinwan@triplewhale.com. I will also stay back to send any messages in the chat. And just really, really quickly, if you are unsure whether or not Triple Whale is the right fit, or maybe you're facing some budget constraints for expanding your tech stack, consider exploring Triple Whale's free analytics tool, Founders Dash. So this will allow you to dive into your data without any cost, and no cost forever, giving you a taste of what Triple Whale has to offer. So thank you once again, here to answer any questions afterwards as well too.
Thank you so much, Erin. Always a fabulous presentation, per usual. We do have a couple questions in the chat, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the first question that we have here from Sharon is, does Triple Whale have an integration with Yotpo?
We do, and I'm so excited. So right now, we just have an integration with SMS and email. And so that has been a really exciting integration for us. We also are working towards our integration with the reviews platform as well too. So slowly but surely, we're getting through all the different modules of Yotpo. But yes, short answer, we do have an integration with Yotpo.
Beautiful. And then the next question here, are there any tools available to build segments inside of Triple Whale?
Yeah, so our SCDP, which is our Smart Customer Data Platform, is going to be the tool that's going to help you to actually build segments. I thought I had an image that I could show. I can also put some links into the chat for you to actually see them. But the SCDP platform will allow you to build all sorts of different segments, as well as we'll have ones that will be already added as templates that you could be using as well.
Yes, and also, like Erin mentioned, we incorporate AI into our segments. So it just makes it really easy to have some out of the box segments ready to go. So some of the AI segments that we offer out of the box are your newbie customers. Maybe they've only made one purchase, your VIP customers, and you can set it by, if you have customers who have spent over, $1,000 with your brand total. So we have a couple that are out of the box, really great for those, newer brands who don't have a whole bunch of time to be building these really intricate segments. So yeah, lots to do there in our at CDP. And then the last question that I have for you, Erin, and I think this is a really good question, is at what stage in a brand's growth should they really start to consider a tool like Triple Whale or using a tool like Triple Whale?
Honestly, like I really do believe Triple Whale is beneficial at any stage. And now that we also have a free option, Founders Dash, it just makes it that much easier for brands at any stage to try a Triple Whale. But I do think that it becomes particularly valuable as brands move from early growth to scaling and maturity. Where now there's like data-driven decision making and optimizations are just super critical for success. So yeah, I feel that like once you really are starting to get more to that explosion of like your scaling, and starting to realize that you can't just kind of put all your budget into one area and hope it's going to work. Like you need to start getting a little bit more methodical about it. So yeah, that's when I think Triple Whale would be the best. But like I said, Triple Whale is essentially for anybody.
Exactly. And it's like, it's one of those things where, like you mentioned with the free dashboard, like that's perfect for those, newer brands that are just starting to, explore budget allocation. And like Michael mentioned earlier, being everywhere your customers are, that's not just for customer service. That's also for, you have customers that are mainly on Instagram Reels. You have customers that are mainly on TikTok or Facebook that are all different demographics that you want to be targeting on all of those different platforms. And it gets really complicated when you're trying to figure out and manage all of those different campaigns. Well, that's the beauty of Triple Whale. We make it really easy for you. So for those newer brands, it's perfect, but also for those mid-market and those enterprise brands who want more granularity with their reporting, who maybe have in-house data scientists that, you want to build more of those complex reports. Like we have that for you too. So Triple Whale really can be used at any stage, which is, what makes it really great for all types of different brands.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Perfect. Before I let you go, Erin, we are going to go ahead and choose this giveaway winner for a $100 gift card. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll on through here. And our winner for today is... Oh, I just had a name here. Sharon Durham. Congratulations, Sharon. You are going to be taking home a $100 Visa gift card today, courtesy of Triple Whale. Beautiful. Well, with that said, Erin, I am going to go ahead and let you go and we will chat soon. I think there was a couple more questions in the chat, so feel free to drop your email and stuff. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and keep things rolling today. So next up, joining me on the stage, we have Daniel from SendLane. So everyone, Daniel is a powerhouse in the e-commerce world, known for his innovative approaches to driving brand growth and customer retention. He's currently serving as the Director of Customer Success at SendLane. Daniel leverages over a decade of experience to help D2C brands thrive in a competitive digital landscape. Daniel, welcome to the stage. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. Okay, I'm trying to share my screen, not able to though.
Erin, if you still have your screen sharing, go ahead and just pull that down, or Annabelle in the background. Let's see. Gotta love some technical difficulties, folks.
It's all good. It's tough acts to follow here.
There we go. All right,
here
perfect.
we go.
Go ahead and play your screen. I'm Daniel. We're good to go.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, can you all see my screen? Yes, you can.
Yep, you're perfect. The stage is all yours, Daniel.
All right, awesome. Well, first and foremost, I'm super pumped to be here. This is going to be super exciting. Guys, if you have any questions, fire away. But without further ado, we're going to have some fun here, right? So the theme of this presentation is the unification of email and SMS. And as some, presenters already mentioned, I mean, they dropped all the good gems and the eggs here. Like, you have to be everywhere your customers are, right? And so if your customers are using their phone, which they are, you want to make sure that, you're on SMS, right? You also want to make sure you have an app. You also want to make sure that you're doing SMS marketing. And if they're checking their emails, you definitely want to make sure that you have email marketing down packed, right? Now, the introduction that was given to me was pretty bomb. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. I'll just sort of like make this slide short. But yeah, I have about 10 years of retention marketing experience. Worked on the D2C side with brands like Scentbird and True Religion. Worked on the agency side where I scaled a lot of brands from a post-purchase, pre-purchase perspective, getting them to the point where they're generating 35% of revenue month over month based on last click attribution. And now I'm joining SendLane, and the goal here is, from a strategic perspective, set them up for success, right? So really, really excited. Now, let's look at what customer experience is, right? Now, we all have like our own definition of customer experience. And I know it's pretty subjective, but in addition to growing your business and creating more sales, you do want to make sure that you're building that trust with your customer, right? A lot of people nowadays want to feel connected to the brand. I actually, in the SendLane podcast, that is a shameless plug, we actually talked about brand loyalty and brand connection. And I actually talked about this brand in the UK, Cole Buxton, that, their quality is like top notch and their brand connection is top notch. I actually feel like I'm a part of the brand, right? And because of that, I am now a brand advocate because I'm speaking about it on this webinar, as well as the podcast episode last week. And now I'm a loyalist, right? And so these are all different ways you can sort of create social currency. Granted, you can, build your brand and increase brand awareness by doing acquisition, by having a thorough retention plan. But there's also, no other better promotion than social currency, than people who want to speak on your brand just because they genuinely love it and they feel connected to it. Now, customer experience is definitely the future of email and SMS marketing, right? So it's all about treating customers the way they want to be treated. Gone are the days where we came up with this cookie cutter approach on how the email marketing strategy should be for everyone. Same with SMS marketing. Now it's more about personalization. So quick fact here, if you're, out of date or maybe not in tune with like email and SMS and the recent changes, there's a good chance that like your playbook could be 10 years old, right? Or just old in general, right? Now it's time to evolve. And what do I mean by that? Well, step one, right? In the very beginning of like the boom of SMS marketing, there was a lot of platforms that only focused on SMS marketing, and the email platforms only focused on email, right? And so you had these silos, right? Where you needed to have two platforms, one for email marketing, one for SMS marketing. And you would create the same journeys, but then you would also create different messages, obviously for email campaigns, SMS messages. But that created a lot of issues. And so one of the issues, if you're not using a triple well, is over attribution. So if you still have two different platforms, one for email, one for SMS, and you don't have triple well, the revenue that's reported in the respective platforms is probably inflated, especially if you're sending out campaigns within like 5 days of one another, right? But not only that, it presents a lot more issues than that. So, when it comes from a strategic perspective, you're limited in terms of how you can build out automations. You also have to do more work. You have to make sure that your email campaign isn't deploying at the same time as your SMS campaign. From a journey perspective, is your emails firing the same time as your SMS? Can you split it? Well, not only that, but how can you also leverage inactivity of one channel versus the other, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that you would have to sort of factor in. And when I was in the agency, the Snow Agency, shout out to the Snow Agency. When I was working at the Snow Agency and I built the retention marketing department, one of the issues that I had, because at the time it was the boom of SMS marketing, it's like, okay, well, how can we make sure that these customers are set up for success? Right. It led to a lot more work from us. Right. We had to make sure that the automations triggered at a different time than the other platform. It was sort of not a mess, but it definitely presented a challenge in itself. And then eventually, right, as we continue to progress and the importance of SMS marketing sort of took precedent, we actually started seeing a lot more platforms sort of consolidate email and SMS marketing. Hint, hint, SendLane. Okay. If you're not using SendLane, do look into us. All right. So now let's talk about the evolution of the pre-purchase funnels. Now we're going to show 3, right? The first one is lead gen, right? Focusing on coupons and pop-ups. Now the old way, and I kind of sound old here, but the old way here is that, you went to a site, you seen a welcome pop-up. Oh my gosh, let me sign up. Let me get this 10% off coupon. Waited a whole day, and then bam, you got one email. The email's like, buy now, right? Like, here it is in your face, buy now. And then you waited one whole day, and then bam, email number 2, buy now. Like, no personalization whatsoever. And then guess what? Moved into the newsletter list, right? The funny part about this is that, like, even like on the affiliate side, I used to do this. Like, so I really do agree with this strategy. This is definitely like the old way of thinking. And now we're talking about the new way. So back to my first point, which is like building that connection and building that trust when we talk about customer experience. We sort of need to actually do that in the perspective of like our automations, right? So let's actually dive in here. Okay, we run into some technical difficulties. Let's see. Okay, guys, bear with me. Okay, now the new way, right? The new way. We're just going to ignore those other clicks that I just did. The new way, right? So someone signs up, right? They get that 10% off coupon. Well, actually, let's stop right there. Let's actually look at the lead gen and the ways to opt in. Previously, you had that 10% off welcome discount. Now there's different ways of getting opt-ins. You have the welcome intent, you have the exit intent, you also have a banner that you can display on your website. You have the bubble that then leads to a potential pop-up. You can also have a tab that would direct to a landing page, which with a dedicated offer. There's different ways of doing that. And so when you sign up, though, what's important is that you add a tag so that you determine and you define how the user came into the journey, right? So if they signed up from the welcome pop-up, we would place a tag in send lane to tag them. Okay, welcome pop-up, exit intent, right? They've received that respective tag. And what that would sort of give us is like a doorway to data, right? Because with the tags, we then create segments. And with that, we're able to determine which ones are actually engaged, right? So we just place the tag, use that for future reference. But after that, right, here's what you've requested, via email, right? This is your information. This is the welcome offer that you wanted. Here it is. Wait one day, and then next thing you know, you receive an SMS message. So with the consolidation or the unification of email and SMS, you sort of have like, the two channels leveraging one another, where we're not only sending out email campaigns, but we're also sending out SMS campaigns. Now, where the whole new way comes in is that we're not just going to provide you with the offer, we're also going to include information like the story and the mission. Right? Let us tell you about the brand so that you can then feel connected. And if you're doing marketing right, especially through own channels, you're not only going to be talking about the story and the mission through the email journey, but you're also going to be speaking to it on organic channels like Instagram, like TikTok, like even on your own website. You want to make sure that you're speaking to it so that this is either more so a reminder or planting the seed so that they can then see the same type of mission on site and through your messaging. Now, after you speak on the story and the mission, there's more opportunities. There's the reminder of purchase. There's utilizing user-generated content, right? It's really time during this period to warm up the customer. You can't just say, hey, guys, like, I want you to purchase from us. Like, there's a plethora of options in all niches. So it's like, what's going to separate you from everyone else, right? Going back to the plug here, the Send Lane podcast, when we were speaking on branding, we were talking about the brands, and I mentioned the Coke Buxton brand. There's so many apparel brands. What's going to make me feel connected, right? And knowing that I was able to see video footage of how the founders created their pieces and how they went about it and how they went about it differently than anyone else made me feel connected. Again, enough to even talk about it on this webinar. Right. So after, you have that UGC, you have the story and the mission, you then go into building out the instructions and the results, right? Which could vary per product, vary per niche. And then after you have that information, you sort of have that climactic story. You then go to the offer again. Hey, look, time is running out, purchase now. And then you have the final notice. This is where FOMO comes to play, right? Utilizing time-sensitive words, buy now, expiring soon, all works. Now, the beauty in this whole thing is that toward the end, right? We're able to understand who is actually engaging with these emails. And then again, we place tags, right? If you're not engaging, you're going to be an unengaged non-buyer. And if you are engaging, you're going to be, tagged respectfully. Now, what do we do with that information? Varies, right? This is where like the marketer's mindset starts to like form. You typically want to have a tailored approach on how you target those people who are not engaged, right? And that could be differently, right? The storytelling thing may work for those people who are already bought in, who are already invested, who have purchased many times. They want to know more about the brand. Maybe those who are not engaged may just want the promotional offers. It varies. During my time at Scentbird, we've had to approach those really just being promotional heavy. And then after we got the conversion and they've already subscribed, that's when we sort of leveraged, that to really lean on the storytelling piece. So the storytelling piece came after the fact, where we just more so focused on the collection and the quality of the collection pre-purchase. So it varies. That's not again, you can't be cookie cutter, right? Back to the, we talked about the old approach, cookie cutter approach, right? This is one size fits all. This is not that. You do have to understand your audience and let the data speak, right? It's not about what you think is best. It's about what the data think is best and what that's telling you. Now, the evolution of the abandoned cart, right? Moving on to part 2. Old way, a simple follow-up message. Someone abandons the cart, wait one day, you forgot your purchase, right? Simple as that. No real seasoning. It's just like bare bones. And like, even like on the SMS side, right? Like, even though SMS is not old, but it's like, okay, similar approach, right? Email marketing, similar approach, right? There's no like unification there. There's no like seasoning, no sazon there. It's just like, that's just what it is, man. But now let's look at the new way, right? So with the new way, it's about leveraging dynamic content to sort of recover the lost sales. So let's look at this baby. I'm just going to add all these steps in one. All right, so with like the new way of leveraging the abandoned journeys, like someone abandons their cart, cool. What are we going to do? You already know. We're going to do it the send lane way. We're going to add a tag, and that's going to sort of be placed there. Then we start utilizing the dynamic email with the dynamic links. Like going back to the first point, it's all about the customer experience. It's about creating a tailored journey. Customers are not stupid. They're smart. They're getting caught up on the times. They want more. And as we continue to progress with the intelligence of email and SMS marketing and introducing it within the journeys, the expectations are going to increase and we're going to have to follow suit, right? And so include that first name personalization, right? Speak to them, include the dynamic products. And, now subscribers already know that you're using dynamic linking whenever you actually have that, as well as the dynamic first name tag and everything. Like they know that too, but they appreciate it though. That's the difference, right? And so you do want to include the visuals of the items that's added to the cart, as well as the dynamic links. And you can even go a step further, right? If this is their first time, right, they haven't purchased before, you want to create conditional splits based on that. And those who haven't purchased before may receive something below the fold, right? The below the fold content could be bestsellers. Give them options. Maybe they added that item to their cart, but they're not too sure if they're sold on that, right? Well, here's a few of our bestsellers in case you want to work on, in case you want to shop those out, right? But after that, after the dynamic email and including the dynamic links, the next step is to, of course, add some urgency, right? Like this is where you can start leveraging time sensitivity. And I do want to pause here and quickly talk about the delays. The delays also vary. Again, nothing is cookie cutter, right? There are some brands where like, the day delays work. There are some brands where you can actually be a little more aggressive. And I've actually seen success having delays like 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. Bam, that's it. That's the combination. That's what's going to work. For some other brands, it didn't work. And we sort of had to adjust. Whatever you do, just give it about 30 days, understand the data, and then you go from there, right? Make some decisions, but test like crazy and then build like a document of like your brand Bible from a retention perspective. Everything you know works, and let that be law. Yearly, you do want to like refresh it to see if there's new things. Maybe your customers are changing, they're getting older, you're bringing in newer customers, behavior may change. So don't get married to that, but just definitely keep a document that stores everything on how to proceed in terms of subject lines, the type of subject lines you include. Are you including emojis? Are the emojis placed in the beginning, or are the emojis placed, toward the end of the subject line? Like, all of these things like really, really are important to like understanding like your brand and utilizing that for success, right? And so, okay, you have the delays. After that, after you have the dynamic email, the dynamic links, you go ahead and include some urgency. The next step, if they haven't purchased yet, is just trusting, trying to build the trust, right? As we mentioned, by providing educational pieces. And then after you do that, you can go ahead and lean on your discount attempt. By this point, if they haven't purchased, maybe a discount would be a nice way to give them a little nudge, right? And then after that, you could go ahead and include the brand story, also include the discount reminder, and then last chance, right? So then, of course, the way we end it, we do the conditional splits, right? Did they engage? Are they non-engaged? Are they actually engaged, right? And then that can sort of be used as leverage for campaign sending. How important? All right, so I'm gonna try this different. Instead of waiting until the end, I want to like answer some questions right away. All right, so how important is A/B testing in subject lines and messages? It's crucial, right? Crucial. How you speak to your copy is like one of the most important pieces in like retention marketing. And like what I've noticed in my experience is that when I would A/B test subject lines, like you can have the same click rate, right? But if you get more opens, that's then going to increase your click rate, right? That's then going to increase like your gross clicks. And so what you want to do is just really understand your audience. Like, start from the core. What is my audience like responding to the most? Should we actually proceed with emojis? Should we proceed with like that personalization, right? Like first name, get your offer, first name, right? I'm telling you, like, I know this sounds like real tedious, but like it's really like advantageous to understanding how you're going to get the most opens, because the more opens you get, the more visibility within the within the email campaign itself, thus increasing the clicks to site, right? And if you think about it, the attention span of like after an email is open, I think is like 6 to 9 seconds. But like now things might change a little bit with all these bite-sized information. So like it sort of like adds up, right? And like, again, you do want to like make sure that you're testing, you're using that, you're documenting it. Don't just test in vain, right? Like, just once you find something, document it and let that help you. If I know that emojis is what's going to work for me, I'm going to make sure that I'm including that more in the subject line. Now, you do want to have an arsenal, right? So don't try to like just find like one thing that works and then that just be it. There was an experience that I had on my end. I'm not going to say the brand, but I've like would find these different ways of like getting the most engagement, and whatever one was like law until it didn't work anymore. And it's like, we could have probably preserved that strategy for like 3-4 years, right? If we just would have like added that to the arsenal and had a few other combinations. Now we just churned it because now our customers are expecting it. So you want to be very cautious with that. Okay, last one to complete the trifecta here, right? The evolution of the post-purchase. So let's talk about that. All right, so the old way here, someone makes purchase, wait 1 day, hey, here's another 10% off coupon, wait another day, check out another product, right? Like, there's like nothing there. It's like, okay, this was cool back in the day, but it's like now we can sort of kind of like step it up. So let's talk about the new way, which is like where we talk about storytelling and education. All right, so the new way here is like on steroids. So the first point here, someone makes a purchase. Obviously, you do want to include that tag. But then after that, it's like, hey, here's what you can expect, right? Now that you've made a purchase, here's the next steps here, right? And then after that, you sort of give that notification that an order has shipped. You also want to provide more information, right? Brand story and mission opportunity. Again, this can vary. If you've included this already within the welcome series, you may not want to include the brand story and mission now. So it does vary. Take this with a grain of salt, right? After that, instructions. So you've purchased, our, skincare, right? Our skincare product. Here's the routine. Here's how to max. Let's go to fragrance actually, because I'm actually working with a fragrance brand. Shout out to Micro Perfumes. Right. So you purchase a fragrance, right? You purchase a cologne, right? And Now that you've done that, here's what you can expect. Well, you can expect for the shipping to happen in about 2-3 days from now. After that, X, Y, and Z, right? And then you sort of like let the story build from there. Brand story and mission. Where was it found? Calabasas, right? Give more information as to why the founder created the business and what problem were they solving. Once you tell that story, you then lean on the instructions. Here's how you can make sure that like your fragrance lasts the longest, right? And you preserve it and you take care of it. Matter of fact, here's also how you can properly spray on fragrance. A lot of people, believe it or not, spray it incorrectly. They store it like in the wrong place. So you want to make sure that they're taking care of their product, because the better they do, the more likely that they will get the most out of their fragrance, right? Now, once you do that, how can we help, right? Through SMS, two-way messaging. Do you have any questions? Sometimes people do. Hey, what's the status of my product? Is it still on the way? How do you use this, etc.? Proceed with UGC, and then you can close out with a reminder of what's to come and check out another product, right? Then you remove the tag, add another tag based on was another purchase made, etc. But either way, right? Like it's more about personalization, providing more value. And, you know, to a few other people's points today, it takes more to get the conversion nowadays. And nowadays is when we actually have to like look at the data, make decisions based on that, and let that just guide us, right? We have to be a little more creative, but we also have to be very customer centric. What would the customer want to receive during this experience? And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But before I go, another shameless plug. We are doing Commerce Roundtable, the biggest D2C event of the years back, September 23rd and 24th. But wait, there's more. All right. Use code SUMMER20 for 20% off tickets. All right. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Danielle. For anyone who hasn't attended Senlene's Commerce Roundtable events before, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. They put on some of the best events in the industry. Go ahead and use that code to get 20% off your ticket, because it is so worth it. They have so many amazing speakers, amazing topics. So highly, highly recommend attending. And thank you so much, Daniel. There's a couple questions in the chat, but we're running like a little bit over time. So I'm going to
I'll
go
just
ahead.
drop my email address if anything. Should I do that?
Yes, please do. Please do. Yeah.
Okay,
For anyone
awesome.
who wants to get in contact with you, feel free to drop your email, your LinkedIn. And I'm going to go ahead and choose your giveaway winner for a Milk Bar gift card. I am craving Milk Bar so bad. So another giveaway winner that I'm so jealous of right now. So we're going to go ahead and choose this winner. And our winner today is Sarah Carroll. Congratulations, Sarah. You are going to be getting some yummy Milk Bar cookies.
Let's go.
Love that.
Let's go, Sarah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for such an amazing presentation, Daniel. We'll chat soon.
It was a pleasure. All right. Sounds good.
All right, everyone, we are going to keep things moving. We're already at our last speaker today. I'm so sad. I've been having so much fun with y'all. So joining us on the stage, last but certainly not least, we have Nick from Skio. Nick leads partnerships at Skio, overseeing both agency and tech partnerships. And Nick previously led business development at a performance marketing agency where he built up his love for all things D2C. So Nick, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone who stuck around. All right, let me share my screen. All right, let's do this. Starting off, I'm going to talk about one tool and 5 features that'll help you boost repeat revenue. But first things first, introduce myself real quickly here. My name is Nick. I lead partnerships at Skio. I'm based in Canada. Previously, I worked for another SaaS company in the kind of the merchant capital advance space called Clearco. And then prior to that, I did a long stint on the agency side where I got into all things e-commerce. My email is real simple, just nick@skio.com. All right, let's get into it. So Skio, we help you sell subscriptions without ripping your hair out. Trusted by thousands of your favorite brands. You can see some of the names on the screen here, but it'll give you a sense of the type of merchants and the kind of the categories that we work in. We do a lot of work in the health and wellness, supplements, cosmetics, beauty, food and drink, anything that has a replenishable element to it lends well to subscription. And then I think subscription, as you'll see as we move forward here, kind of goes hand in hand with all things retention. A little caveat before we get into the individual features and tactics is this little meme from, I don't know, it's called the midwit meme, and I think we all kind of fall victim to this. You can see kind of the beginner on the left-hand side comes to the same conclusion as the expert Jedi kind of on the right-hand side, is that customers will subscribe to great products at the end of the day. And that's where you should really focus the bulk of your time and energy, is kind of really building out the great product, more so than engaging in any of the tactics that I'm going to get into in a second. And I think there's a bit of a trap that you can fall into, especially if you spend a lot of time on Twitter or LinkedIn, where folks are kind of discussing all of these kind of more intricate strategies. First and foremost, focus on the product, and then move your attention into kind of getting those incremental wins by layering on these additional tactics. But without further ado, I'm going to jump into some of these tactics right away. The first one is just making sure that you have a cancel flow in place. Cancel flow is essentially like a little mini questionnaire survey that pops up at the time of cancellation, allowing you to capture that information that speaks to why the subscriber is trying to cancel. So for instance, you can see on the left-hand tile there, like, hey, they selected that it's too expensive. The Skio cancel flow allows you to kind of present offers, or what we call treatments, in front of those subscribers in an attempt to retain them, right? So if the customer chooses it's too expensive, maybe you present them with a discount. And you can get one layer more kind of complex with this, or more targeted, let's say, by presenting different offers to different types of customers. Meaning you might want to treat a customer that's been with you for 10 cycles differently than a customer who is canceling after the initial cycle. That customer is worth more to you. They've spent a longer time in the program. Maybe you're more willing to be a bit more aggressive in the discount that you share with the customer like that than a customer that is really trying to take advantage of the subscribe and save discount. Additionally, versus in addition to those kind of cancel save mechanisms, it's just super important to be able to capture and understand why those customers are canceling. With the data that you're collecting from that questionnaire, it allows you to kind of then re-engage with those customers, maybe at a later date, or through kind of like an email flow, whether through SendLane or otherwise, to kind of re-engage with that customer. Maybe they're not a best fit for the subscription. Maybe they're not even a best fit for that particular product, but maybe there's something else in the brand that would be a good fit for them. And being able to kind of use that information and pass that back to your marketing team, or to your product team, or even the team that's running your paid ads on the acquisition front, can really help create that like information flywheel that it will just kind of make your marketing smarter over time. Next up, I got quick actions. So quick actions, think about it as taking an action that might be like 5 or 6 clicks, clicking from an email or from an SMS message, going to a website, logging into your subscription portal, then ultimately taking an action of what you wanted to do to skip your next order, to swap your products. How can we collapse that into as few clicks as possible to make it really simple and really frictionless for your subscribers to take the action that they want? And most often it's like on the go, engaging with your notification on their phone. So these quick actions allow you to do that, kind of pack a number of steps into one single click, even going as far as not requiring the need for a customer to log in to even get into their portal. So if you want to make it really simple for like, hey, you got an upcoming order coming in the next 3 days. Did you want to add an additional product? Did you want to swap your flavors? If you're not going to be home, click here to skip. So all of those types of actions can be loaded into a quick action to, again, make those actions very simple and very easy for your subscribers. And again, making life easy for your subscribers is kind of the key to keeping them on board. If you frustrate these customers in any way, you risk just upsetting them, and then they can kind of go into that churn risk bucket. The third thing that I've got as a really strong tactic to kind of keeping your subscribers engaged with your program is setting up these moments of surprise and delight. And some folks on the webinar has already spoken to this today, but think about this as the idea of rewarding your customers with either a gift or a discount for having reached select milestones. So say you can get a little bit tactical here as well, right? Think that if you've reviewed your analytics and you notice that your subscribers tend to churn around the fourth order, what can you do in advance of that fourth cycle to reward your customers for staying on board and get them excited about staying on for the fourth order? Essentially kind of earn maybe the next stage of like 3 orders. So you could do this by rewarding your customers with maybe like a piece of merch or like a unique item that isn't even for sale on the site, and said, hey, thank you so much for being part of the club. We've got a really cool gift for you coming on your next cycle. Let us know how you like it. You can set that up like in a triggered email to come out prior to that surprise and delight event. Or you could use this as like a means to encourage your customers to sample related products to the product that they already have in their subscription, to get them to kind of sample outside of your catalog, and with the idea that they could potentially add that product into their subscription on a going forward basis. So surprise and delight, really key to injecting a little bit of fun, a little bit of novelty, and a reward element into your subscription program. And here I've got this idea of going beyond the subscribe and save 10%. You'll notice that the tactics that I've discussed already all relate to that retention side. And that's really by design. Unless you have a net new subscription program, of course, it makes sense to focus all of your efforts on acquiring subscribers, because you don't have any subscribers to retain at that point. But as soon as you have a substantial number of subscribers, it's really important on plugging the bucket, so to speak, so that when you do shift gears into the subscriber acquisition efforts, you've got a really strong retention kind of component already built out with some of the other tactics that I've already discussed. But building out your subscription offer, absolutely crucial to increasing the number of subscription opt-ins. That means the number of folks that choose the subscription option rather than choosing the one-time purchase option from your product page. So you can do things like volume discounts. That's when you set up essentially buy more, save more offers. So you could have a subscribe and save 10%, but maybe you do something like if you add 3 or more products, you'll subscribe and save 20%. So you're encouraging the growth of that basket size by just including that volume discount in your offer. Starter kits is this idea of kind of front loading the value on the initial purchase. So for instance, maybe you're a health and wellness company, you sell protein powder. You could buy the protein powder one-off, but if you subscribe and save, you also get, a smoothie booklet. You could get a shaker cup. You could get a measuring spoon. So kind of overloading all of that value to make it a really easy decision for the site visitor to choose the subscribe and save option. And then on subsequent orders, they're just getting the core product. So it'll just switch back to the protein powder that they initially purchased. The final option here for building out your subscription offer is setting up Build a Box. And that's what you see on the right-hand side of the screen. This allows your site visitors to really build a custom routine or bundle that matches their specific tastes, right? And I think a lot of cancellation happens on the subscription side because people just have like flavor fatigue at the end of the day. So if you're allowing your customers to really customize and tailor their bundle to their specific tastes, you're more likely to kind of keep them on board longer because they're getting exactly what they want. And you're also encouraging them to build up the basket size again, because you can set those kind of threshold discounts where what you can see on the screen, as you reach 4 products in your offer or in your order, then you unlock that 10%. Should you reach 6 products, then you'll unlock 15%. And of course, all of that is customizable. The last one that I want to talk about today, and everyone on this webinar, you're actually hearing about this for the first time, is Skio is getting into the loyalty space. So think about that as what I described in the surprise and delight with this free gifts or discounts on order X, kind of beefing that up to the point where you could unlock not just rewards, but also in-store credit and then exclusive content when a subscriber reaches a select tier, and you could build out a number of these different milestones. Again, rewarding customers for that behavior that you want to encourage, which is long-term retention. Setting up those tiers to kind of gamify it a little bit so that there's always something that they can look forward to that's coming ahead. So loyalty, keep your eyes open for that one. And you can see here that our client over at Gains in Bulk, they implemented a number of these strategies and saw a whopping 4x increase in monthly subscriptions over a 3-month period after putting this together with both the technology and our success team here at Skio kind of leading them along the way. And that is it. I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet for you all, knowing that we've gone over time a little bit, but I'm happy to dive into your individual subscription programs and provide you with free ideas as to ways that you can kind of optimize what you have in place today. You can hit me up anytime about that. It's just nick@skio.com.
Amazing presentation, Nick. First of all, I'm so excited for you guys to be getting into loyalty and memberships. That was also like my first time hearing about this too. So amazing. Congratulations on expanding your already amazing product offering. There was actually a question that came through about this. So Sadie had asked, will the loyalty program be available separately from subscriptions?
Right now, our approach is to offer all features in one plan. So we don't even have kind of like a starter or a tiered plan type of thing. We don't gate any of the features. So when you're signing up for Skio, you get access to all of those features, and we'll approach it the same way when it comes to loyalty. It will really be tied in with the subscription component, thinking about ways how you can rewards, not so much with like a points-based system, but more so rewarding on the back of how long you've stayed subscribed to a brand.
Definitely. And then Madeline had asked, what payment processors does Skio support? Additionally, does Skio integrate with Shopify?
Yeah, so I'll start in reverse order. We actually only integrate with Shopify right now. So we're built on the back of what's called the subscriptions API. So we're exclusive to Shopify right now. The other part of the question was about payment gateways. So let's see if I can rhyme these off. So it's Stripe, Shopify Payments, Authorize.net, and PayPal are the only payment gateways that are eligible for subscriptions. That's not unique to Skio. That's set by Shopify themselves.
Perfect. And one question that I have that I see come up pretty often from brands is, how do I know if my product is a right fit for subscriptions or for a subscription offering?
Yeah. So I think if you can think through whether the product is replenishable in the sense that, is it something that you consume from beginning to end? So you can think through, your cosmetics products, your food and drink. You obviously go through a product and then you need to get more of it. Anything that has that kind of replenishable element to it lends well to subscriptions. Folks have kind of gone a little bit outside the box and done subscriptions for like apparel and clothing, where you could get like a box of the month, that type of thing. But our focus is primarily on those categories where there's like true replenishable element.
Okay, very, very good points. And then my last question for you is, what is the easiest way to increase a brand subscription opt-in rate?
Ooh, great question. So, like I mentioned in my talk, I would focus kind of on the back end first. First and foremost, try to plug as many of the holes in your bucket and then switch gears to focusing on acquisition. When you are ready to focus on the acquisition, I think all the action really happens around the buy box itself. So you can do simple things like defaulting to subscription instead of defaulting to one-time purchase. But the second thing that I think is far more important is unfurling kind of all of the benefits that you get from the subscription. So that might be things like free shipping, that might be the discount itself, that might be some type of guarantee, that might be like a free download or free perk or first access to new products. Making it really clear as to why a customer should choose the subscription and make it really like to the point where they feel silly choosing the one-time purchase. Like you need to really take it to that point to really drive up your opt-ins on the subscription choice. Because I think we're all a little bit like afraid of commitment. And
Yeah.
if I'm choosing a subscription, then it feels like I'm committing to something. So you got to add all of the amount of value that you can kind of overcome that fear of commitment or resistance to commitment.
Exactly. We've got commitment issues.
Yeah, we all do.
I love that. Okay, cool. Well, we are up on time. So before I let you go, Nick, we're going to go ahead and choose this winner for an Airbnb gift card. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll on through here. And our winner for today is Sarah Hertz. Congratulations, Sarah. You will be taking home a Airbnb gift card courtesy of Skio.
Woo.
Love that. All right, Nick. With that said, it was such a pleasure having you on the whale watching stage, and we'll chat with you soon.
Thanks.
Had a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm back. So with that said, everyone, it has been such a pleasure, an absolute pleasure being your host today. Keep an eye on your inbox because this webinar was recorded, so you will be receiving the recording afterwards. So if you missed any of the slides or you want to go ahead and rewatch to take down any extra notes, you will be getting that recording sent to you. And if you have any questions for our speakers, you can find all of them on LinkedIn, or you can find their emails as well to ask them any additional questions or learn about their solutions. And with that said, again, such a pleasure being your host, and I will catch you on the next whale watching webinar. We'll chat soon, everyone. Bye.